Well, I don't think Luke Broderick from the Valley is getting an invite to have a one-on-one candlelit dinner with Lisa at Sir anytime soon. That's right, Turtle Time has confirmed that Luke went on the Reality Tea Virtual Reality podcast and said the food at Sir is pure shit. He confirmed that goat cheese balls tasted like shit and had too much cheese in them, and he also didn't even like the Pinky's pork patty, which is one of Chef Joe's specialties. So Ken Todd is breathing a major sigh of relief today. That seat next to Lisa is still all yours.
Oh my God. They were talking about, I don't remember them being so filled with cheese that it was overwhelming. Do you?
No, no, no. My theory was that she was skimping on the goat cheese and
Yeah.
getting extra fried bread crust.
He was making them sound like they're the size of like the Cheesecake Factory mac and cheese balls. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I remember them being like eyeball size.
me too. They were the size of like pupils, not even eyes. And there was they were kind of virtual reality. No offense to them, but they also said that she serves four. And no, she serves three. We were just talking about this. They always allow one to be eaten on the way to the table, so you just get three. And I thought the same thing. Well, anyway, what we're talking about is that I thought it was interesting. Luke was very honest on this podcast about how he felt about the food, and after years of hearing, how delicioso every dish on the Sir menu is, it was kind of shocking to me to hear Luke be so candid about those food items. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just waiting for him to say, he was like, pork patties, to use your term, are better in Indiana. I was like, I knew he was going to say some shit about how where he's from is better.
Yeah, but he said not even the Indiana State Fair would serve this type of shit. He goes, even at the state fair where they serve elephant ears and pork patties, that even that would be the better one. So that's even saying it's worse than the shittiest place you could get a pork patty in
But I feel like
Indiana.
state fair is like good food.
Oh, I'd have to go to a couple more state fairs, but the food I had, well, I guess, yeah. What
I mean,
is
it's
it?
always
Elephant ears?
indulgent, but tasty.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe he was just giving a huge shout out to his Indiana local state fairs and their pork patties, but I just still found it to be galling that he said those goat cheese balls are not even at all good. So, and you and I, the reason why this also tickled me a little bit was because you and I dissect the shit out of every meal that comes out of Chef Joe's kitchen on the Vanderpump Rules recap series that we do. So that was kind of just
Yeah.
a fun little thing for,
Yeah.
us to talk about.
I'm surprised that she took him there. Like that she's even eaten there while she's been with him.
I'm surprised too. I don't know how the hell that came about, but he said that he went 2 years ago and only had one dinner there, and unfortunately, he happened to order the two worst things on the Sir menu. So
Yeah,
bad
he
luck.
said that he was there the night Scandival broke out, so we were too. And I remember seeing Kristen, but I guess I didn't know who he was at the time, so I wouldn't have cared if I did see him.
Oh my God! I didn't. I had to stop it because I was getting too nervous for Luke's life when he started being so cavalier about speaking about her food. So I didn't hear that part. But oh my God, yeah, we saw Kristen every single second we were watching where Kristen was, but I didn't see him because we did not know him. So
Yeah,
yeah, you don't. It doesn't really. He didn't really stick out not knowing who he was at the time.
exactly. Well, we'll see if we ever eat those goat cheese balls again.
Oh, I don't know if I probably would never probably never order them again. I've told you this horrible story. I'll say it'll be 20 seconds, but I took my sister because we were in Vanderpump Rules heaven and
Yeah.
she came to visit. We went on Halloween. Obviously Peter served us. He was dressed like a full pirate. It was really fun. My sister was shocked as hell. But then another server, I think Max, brought out the goat cheese balls. There was only 3. They were the size of peas. We go, you'd think 4 would be served. We were 4 people, 3 pea-sized goat cheese balls. Then my sister ordered a sangria, and I swear to God, it was a clump of frozen fruit this big with seltzer water poured on top and maybe red food dye or something. And it was, $18. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God. I wrote a Yelp review. I said, this place, I was so pissed because of my sister. I was embarrassed in front of her. I said, if this place is a gold mine, everything about it is great. Peter serving you, Max serving you, the servers are amazing, the atmosphere is beautiful. Can we make the food a little better? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, does it have to be just absolute dog shit and then everything else is kind of fun? But anyway, enough about that food.
I hope you have a photo of the goat cheese balls somewhere in your camera roll. I want to see.
I'll find it. I'll find it right now. I'm gonna type in very small portions of food on my Apple Photos, and I'm gonna find a picture of that. You and I have been kind of laughing off mic.
Always.
Off mic because we've been seeing. You and I have been sharing photos back and forth in our various text groups that we have, and there have been little pop-ups and pop-ins and rumors and whispers about Lindsay Hubbard going around town, New York City, and not just like the New York City that we used to know Lindsay going to, like all the places that she went when she was a Summer House cast member. Now she seems to be going to very much, I would say, RHONY-esque places. And in the last couple of weeks, she's met babies with Aaron. Mm-hmm. Their babies have exchanged glances and met each other. She went to possibly Kentucky Derby with Jessel, right?
Yep.
And then today, Lindsay's PR brain, it's, oh my God. She is the Leonardo da Vinci of PR because she posted a photo and she said, it was Kentucky Derby themed. Let me try to remember it. Horses in a horse race. Oh,
I'll tell you. It was the caption was it was a photo dump from the Kentucky Derby, but the first photo is just like her posing, and she says, "I may not have a dog in this fight, but I definitely have a horse in this race," which is very much giving to the trained ear a Housewives tagline.
Trained. I mean, you and I, we'll be saying this. People will be like, I didn't think anything of that. I thought that was a traditional, fun caption of Lindsay Hubbard that is typical of her wit. No, Turtle Time experts have reviewed this, and that is in the exact same language and phrasing of a tagline. And if she's seen with Jessel, and there's people talking about, they say, get Lindsay on RHONY, that's red meat for you and I and for Lindsay heads to be fired up at the potential of her being on RHONY. What do you say to this?
Yeah, I was immediately like, it's giving, I may have been thrown to the wolves, but I'll return leading the pack, or I'm obsessed with dogs, but I'm not crazy about bitches. I mean, those are both Lisa, but hers.
Oh yeah, it was giving, oh my God, what was Teresa's iconic one? The only things that you can't clean up are wine and blood. Anyway, what was it again? I don't have a dog in this fight, but I do have a horse in this race.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, so I think you and I both agree because we were laughing, off mic. But RHONY is as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
I mean, bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Couldn't be worse.
Couldn't be worse. Horrible. I wasn't necessarily ever like, get Lindsay Hubbard on there. Mm-hmm. But if she wants to gravitate to a new show that is in her backyard, the New York City that, the Big Apple, she already lives there. If RHONY's needs people, which they do, and Lindsay is there, and she's at the time of her life where she wants to transcend Summer House, maybe she could still even be on Summer House, be one of the Holy Grail-esque Bravo celebrities that can be on multiple. I don't see anything wrong with it. I just worry that it's going to be a completely lopsided franchise, and Lindsay Hubbard will have people they won't even be able to exist in the same universe as her after a couple seasons. It'll be an entirely new cast because I can't imagine how powerful Lindsay Hubbard would be in conjunction with Jenna Lyons, Brynn, and Aaron. I mean, she's going to wipe the absolute floor with them. They're going to be smears on a wall after she gets through with them after a season.
Yeah, which honestly sounds kind of fun to me. You know, I have my thoughts about her in the summer house environment and her personality and her actions, but I'm like, yeah, maybe unleash her on these women that seem to have a problem bringing any fire whatsoever. Like, imagine if her and Bryn get into it and she like out girl bosses Bryn and they get furious and get really down and dirty. I'm like, that sounds really fun, actually.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Bryn is just it will be decimated by Lindsay Hubbard. We were talking. One of our big complaints in RHONY was like Bryn was getting away with murder metaphorically by being able to be the one who was talking shit and no one was there to check her. We were like, if there was even one more, even slightly more powerful cast member, Bryn would be brought down easily. That could be Lindsay Hubbard.
Yeah, that is
good.
Interesting. Has anyone besides like Winter House or the Valley has someone been on 2 shows? Because
you mean like
maybe she doesn't stay in the house, but maybe she comes like once or twice the way Schwartz does.
Yeah.
You know, like that would be interesting.
it'd be perfect. It could be just like what Danielle does. I mean, Danielle pops her head in. We all have the time of our life. She kills it in every single scene, moves the plot along. Lindsay could do the full summer. I don't know when the hell RHONY shoots, but I could imagine a world where she goes, I need to get out of the Hamptons and go back to my real job in the fall time. And then she drives right into Jessel's parking spot outside of her apartment. And then she goes and has dinner with Jessel and Pavitt. Could you imagine?
Yeah, just do the, what do they call that? Backdoor opening, like for old time's sake.
Total backdoor transitionary shows. I do not know what Lindsay Hubbard would do within the Housewives franchise, but it can't get any worse on RHONY. So I fully give it the Turtle Time Riley Hamilton stamp of approval.
Yeah, I think it would be smart for Bravo to, you know, if this cast, if they're not sure exactly how they're going to move forward with them, unless, you know, maybe they will just keep doing it forever. But I think it would be smart to think ahead and how to leverage her in a more long-term way if she's like winding down on being able to stay there all the time, you know?
I think so too. I mean, I mean, Lindsay Hubbard is extremely entertaining. Absolutely. So if there is an outlet for her to continue her journey in the Bravo universe, that needs to happen. And so that's good news. It's great for Lindsay Hubbard too. She's going to flourish in that environment. She's going to be at each season, and a cast member is going to be fired off that show until 5 seasons later. It's completely has an entirely new cast after Lindsay gets done with them. So
although she'd be the third cast member on that show that doesn't show their partner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
That's kind of insane.
This is going to be, we're so happy and being so good and pro Lindsay Hubbard, but I was going to just say that I don't know if I fully think that Turner and Lindsay are still together even.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they ever really were very much post-birth. That was the vibe I was getting.
We were like mean one time, you and I think it was like the one time we were mean, like 6 months ago, and it was when Lindsay was on Watch What Happens Live, and it was after those rumors, and that Turner was not in the picture, and I remember her language not being very clear and emphatic that they were still together. And then she also said, I think Turner's in the green room, and then there was never any evidence or proof, possibly, So that would be, that would end up being the possible conflict that would go into RHONY that we would continue, because she'd be having to go through the, I don't know, co-parenting or something with maybe a significant other that she's no longer in a relationship with. So there's so much there. I wrote down news-wise that there were some Valley peeps coming out from Andy Cohen on the Sirius radio show. He said, you just played me the audio right before. We were having little bit of a laugh before we started recording. and he said, they go, why the hell was Michelle? That seems to be the most viral thing about that Valley seating chart. They go, how the hell was Jesse third in the full shine of Andy Cohen? He's right there at the Heat Power Center. And then Michelle, his, ex-wife, is dead last. And Andy goes, there's absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, about last chairs when it comes to reunions. It means nothing. He goes, someone has to sit in the last chair. So what would you do? Have Michelle be seated behind Jasmine, and then there would be no one officially last chair? It just can't work.
I feel like he has to say that because he doesn't want to get late night calls from housewives being like, why am I last? Why am I last? And he has to be like, there's only so many chairs, darling. Of every seat's as good as the last.
I know. I would probably say that every single day of my life too.
Like, of course it means something to be first chair. Like, come on.
It definitely means something because those are the people that are going to be talking the most, and usually it's people who are opposing forces who have the most conflict over the season. There's definitely something to first chair. But anyway, it was...
I don't remember if we already... I can never remember what we've said on what day on Patreon or whatever, but remember when Whitney was last and Bronwyn's big dress kept, like, getting in her face and she had to keep moving it.
It was the most disgraceful seating in Real Housewives history. Whitney tried her hardest to make what was that shop that she was accused of stealing from? Alibaba.
Yeah.
She tried to make Alibaba Gate a thing. She accused Lisa of a bunch of bullshit lies, and then they gave her the ultimate disgrace of putting her behind Bronwyn's big dress, and she had to move around Bronwyn the entire time. It was awful. That last chair meant something.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think I texted this to people, but I don't think I said it on the pod, but I had a humbling moment where I went to New York a few weeks ago and I bought a little ring, like a pinky ring at a boutique in like Chelsea. I was like on the hunt for a ring. It was cute. It was like cheap. Like it was like $60. I knew it wasn't like, it wasn't fine jewelry by any means. So I was like, whatever. I was like, okay, I like this. I'll buy it. And then I was sitting at the airport and I was like, I didn't have the package and I was like, what was this brand? Like, I want to like browse the other shit. And so I reverse searched it. Guess what came up?
Alibaba?
Yeah, Alibaba.
So wait, where did you go? You said you were hunting through the streets of Chelsea.
It was just like a cute boutique that like had a bunch of different designers and stuff. And I knew that it wasn't, it was like cheap for jewelry. So it was like, I bought it for $60 and on Alibaba it was like $30. And I was like, that's a reasonable markup. But I was like, damn, like, I wonder how many things you search, like how many of them come up on Alibaba.
Oh my God. I can't believe, wow. So $30. So they did what's that called? Twice the price to sell it. I'm so sorry. But, I've heard since, we got a lot of emails from Alibaba after we were dissecting Salt Lake City, and they guaranteed me that a lot of their stuff is really good.
Okay.
So
I wonder what's, Alibaba's about to get like tariffed the fuck out of Dodge. Like, I think Whitney is having all kinds of problems. There's like that whole thing about her beauty brand is going asunder, and she's like, don't believe the rumors, but like,
she goes, Queens of Bravo, how dare you post information about me and my family and our monetary situation without fact checking everything. But it's like you know that there's probably some
she's
issues
like, you're
going.
taking food out of Bobby Lee's mouth.
I'm excited. You're making me excited about Salt Lake City coming back again someday.
I know. We're just like, I feel like it's getting so much coverage. Like people care about it so much that I see a post every single day about them filming. It
won like a MTV Best Salt Lake City centered reality television show or something recently for season 5.
We never talked about that. Like Bronwyn was like had all that like scammer drama, and it never rose to the top enough for me to care. And I was like, if it's important, it'll come up on the show.
Yeah, you know what rose to the top to me that Bronwyn never did is when they busted her hook, line, and sinker about that $1 million necklace that Todd said he bought her. And she goes, I'll post me wearing that necklace. How interesting. That's so interesting that you would say that. I'll post that necklace on Instagram tomorrow with the price tag hanging off it. And I might be wrong, but I never saw Bronwyn wearing $1 million necklace. I think she
You're
got
like, I don't
busted.
follow her, but
Yeah.
to my eye, I never saw it.
But I'm so excited. Bronwyn, Brittany. Oh my God, I cannot wait for that shit. But that's not the only good thing in the Bravo universe. Far from it. We're talking about we're not talking about Summer House today, but I'm saying in the Bravo contemporary universe. And then I would say shining like a diamond in a where do diamonds exist from? A deep cave. This episode of The Valley, I was watching it today. I was laughing off mic with you a little bit.
You guys don't get to see it all.
I like saying that over and over again. This Valley episode was so fun. I couldn't believe it. I think that once you just I don't know. I'm in a good mood about the Valley, and I love the cast, and I think it's just fun as hell. And it's about as fun as it gets with a cast that is dynamic and has an actual relationships with each other. And then also they have horrible, obviously conflict going on with two couples their marriages are going through absolute turmoil. But then also like they're going on these trips, and because it's a new cast, these trips feel very fun and new, because it's like I feel like a lot of trips now, you and I we go, oh, it's trip time. Okay. Yeah. We have the two trips that we go on. And this one, and actually because I haven't seen them all interact with each other a lot, and actually because they're all friends, the trips start to make, more sense and seem more authentic. So I was loving almost everything about this episode the entire time.
Yeah, it is nice that, we've gotten, is the only peak of Vanderpump, like, Sheena on the phone last week was the only thing we've seen so far. I know there's more to come, but like generally the show is really like confident in their core cast, and they haven't had to deal with any of the other people. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't need them.
I know. Oh my God, this will be mean as hell. I only say something mean every 4 months, but I mean, Lala and Sheena and Schwartz, I'm not like waiting in the wings saying, please, please, please give me them back. I will love them, obviously, and it will be fun to see them again, but the show doesn't need it. I kind of understand what Jax was saying back in the day in season 1, when he was like, we don't need those people. I love Danny Bucco and Janet and everybody else. So yeah, you're right. Valley is kind of killing it on its own. And I do want to say, before, in case I ever forget it, I think I enjoyed moments from Janet and Luke and Jason, so many moments where I think that they got to shine a little bit in this episode. And those are the more cast members that I don't think we see a lot, especially Luke. Luke was having the time of his life this episode.
Yeah. Did you also see that Kristen's baby shower was last week, I think, and Sheena didn't go. She favored Stagecoach over the baby shower.
No way. I kept missing these articles that I should have looked at, where it said something like Sheena and Kristen have talked about a rift that they possibly have, but shit, I don't know if I read it, and I don't know why.
Ariana was there though.
That's good. That's a huge, wonderful look into their friendship, that Ariana would show up and support Kristen and Luke at that baby shower. It looks beautiful, the baby shower, the photos I saw. Did you see some of that stuff?
Happy for her. I keep wondering, I also don't remember if I already said this, but I wonder if they filmed the Valley reunion so early because she'll be due soon.
I think it's possible. I mean, that's one of the only reasons I could think of. But then Andy did talk about that. He goes, it's so fucked up that we had to watch 12 episodes all at once, because I forget why.
It's kind of crazy they're all done.
I know. I bet the last ones are like sloppy as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know anything about that. Okay. So this, a wonderful episode. I thought overall. Do you want to unpack it together?
Yes, the Circle of Strife.
Whoa. Circle of Strife. I know what strife means. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it out loud. And I like that it's a reference to the time in Valley season 1 when Danny tried to sing Circle of Life out on the river in Big Bear, and Jack said, you can't sing that. That's Disney. That's Disney. Stop singing that. Do you remember that?
I remember that. But there's also, they sit in a circle at the end and kind of talk about their strife.
Oh, that's probably what it's referencing more than that one random moment I remember from season 1. But it starts out, everybody is getting ready for Santa Barbara. Have you been to Santa Barbara?
Yes.
Do you like it?
It's beautiful. Yeah.
I love it.
I have to give Jesse a shout out that he has good taste. The house that he chose is beautiful. He gave a shout out to historical homes being better, which you would think he'd be like a douchebag who would do like developer new builds, but I was like, all right, +1 for Jesse that he appreciates 1920s Spanish style.
I gave him +3. I gave him +10. And then I gave him -4 by the end of the episode. I was pissed at the end. But he does have amazing taste. Let's just say it. Jesse's got good taste in wine, good taste in food, good taste in silver tea sets that he gave to Luke and Kristen. Not gave. Honored them by pouring tea out of them. Amazing fashion sense. Yeah. Let's just give him credit.
You're like, his nips, his body.
His body is absolutely amazing.
His body is tea.
I gave him +10. His body's tea. I gave him +10, and then, but anyway, and then he goes, Isabella, pick out my shoes. What does one wear to Santa Barbara wine tasting? And she picked out the coolest shoes out of all 5 shoes. Do you see those things?
Oh yeah, they were very flamboyant. I love that he just spends every nickel he has on everything.
I love that too. It's so cool, and you could see it. You could see all the money he's spending, kind of. Yeah. When you look around. Yeah, I mean,
if I forget, where did we land at? Housewives rules. Does production pay for the vacation place?
I think on trips I think they pay for everything, right? Like, okay. I mean, travel, the actual house, getting there. Because what would they have to pay for? The beer and the steaks?
Yeah. Well, yeah. West said on Summer House they have to pay for all their meals and food.
He did.
Yeah. And I've heard lots of housewives say they have to pay for their like glam and their fashions. So the idea of how out of control it's gotten, I'm like, this is going to ruin a lot of people. But yeah, I always forget about the trips. I think if you host a party like at your house, you have to pay for it, but maybe the trips are paid for.
Yeah, I think it was paid for. It was a beautiful, beautiful house, like you said. There's a little stray moments. Zach is talking about how he's a little nervous to go on this trip because he thinks Janet is not going to have a good time with him. She's going to continue her hatred of him. Nia says she's might be ovulating. And Danny goes, Mamma Mia, I don't want to talk about having a kid right now because he's not ready, like we've talked about, because he wants a bigger home. But I think, I wrote this down, I think that they officially got a home in Santa Clarita. Did you hear this?
Yeah, I think I did see that. As far as fuck.
Santa Clarita?
Yeah.
Oh my, what, like 35 minutes, 45?
Well, I guess it depends where you're going. But she tried to say on Watch What Happens that at a good time you could get to West Hollywood in 20 minutes, and I was like, not even at 3 a.m. could you get to West Hollywood in 20 minutes. You're delusional.
Yes, absolutely. The group gathers at Janet's house to leave, and everyone is having the time of their life. They're so excited to go on this trip. They have separate cars. It's like Kristen, Luke, and Jesse in one, and then what's the other one?
I don't know. Kristen's like laying down in the back. But yeah, I was surprised that they were together. And then Michelle is like, I think they're like the girls are in one. And Michelle says she's just going to plan to avoid Jesse. They pull up to the house. It's beautiful. Like I said, it has an ocean view. Jesse welcomes them all, and he has, white flags for everyone to accept upon their way in. Brittany's like, what does that mean? And everyone's like, it means like when you're at war and you're trying to claim peace or whatever. And I was like, doesn't she watch like Looney Tunes or like any, like, why doesn't she have like any institutional knowledge of like anything?
White flags. I was thinking about this. There are a couple, only probably 3 or 4 totems that you and I probably learned white flags from that Brittany didn't see. Like you said, Looney Tunes, Game of Thrones. Jon Snow famously says he raises a big white flag and he says, "Stop! I want to end the war." So maybe she just, You know what? I was thinking about this. I think the most embarrassed I've ever been on Turtle Time, well, there's probably 50 times, but when I thought that Norman Rockwell was the American Gothic painting, and it's just like it was a full lapse in my knowledge, something that I took for granted, and I said it aloud, and I didn't know what I was saying. So I kind of just, there's those things. All of a sudden, you could just be a person who says, I don't know who the hell... I don't know what a good example is. And then you just learn some huge cultural blind spot that somebody has. So maybe that's Brittany. She unfortunately, never saw any media or books or anything with a white flag in it.
They could have called the episode Beach Bags and White Flags.
That would have been so good. And I wouldn't have even blamed them because that was a Summer House title. So I think the Valley editors, it would have been totally fine for them. Santa Barbara Bags and White Flags. Well, also we have to say on the way, just to set a little subtext, there's hints that he has been rage texting Brittany from the mental health treatment facility, and that is I've heard this already because it came out, I think, in the trailer and everything. But if you didn't know and you're just watching The Valley and you don't listen to all this shit, it's very shocking to learn that Jax went into the mental health facility and he's texting constantly Brittany, and we don't learn yet what it was, right?
The amount of text that they show ultimately, like they show them on screen, but I've tried to pause a bunch of times because she was scrolling really fast to just show the sheer amount, and so I was trying to pause and see in the background, but I'm like, he's on his phone every minute of the day in that place.
Yes, he said that they get 7 hours of therapy, no phones, please. But then every 15 minutes between therapy sessions, he's sending text after text saying, I want you to visit me, please visit me, in sickness and in health. Those were our vows, in sickness and health. And so he's just, barraging her with messages. And it's a California law. That's what Jack said. He goes, it's beautiful. They let me keep my phone. They let me keep my phone in here. But they are all kind of saying, like, doesn't that defeat the purpose if you're allowed to kind of text your ass off while you're... Anyway, I just wanted to say that there's like a first rearing of its head, but then it becomes a much bigger issue, and we'll read those texts when we get to them. Okay, handing out white flags. Kristen is ovulating, she says. And
ovulators.
Her and Luke are so horny right when they get to the house. They want to take advantage of this and have sex as quickly as they can. So they go, let's go have sex in our room. And then that's when everyone dresses for a race car event that Jesse planned, right? It's like, you don't know. My mind immediately was like, these are going to be big race cars that they can run around in. But it's not that. But they all dressed up in their best sort of, what's it called? Race car jackets, race car pants. And then this was a fun thing. Danny Bucco, Jason says, Danny Bucco, you look like John Travolta. And he means in Greece. And I said to myself, we kind of have been laughing about this off mic, but isn't it interesting that he called him Danny Zuko from Greece and his name is Danny Bucco?
It's unbelievable.
But do you think it was kind of wild when Grease probably came out and people were like, I'm watching Grease and it has a character named Danny Zuko and your name is Danny Bucco.
I wonder if he was probably born around the time that Grease came out.
Yeah, I tried to look this up. I couldn't figure out when Grease came out. I've been trying to...
Couldn't get to the bottom of it.
And then you have to do the math on when Danny grew up and what age he was. But if he was 18 in high school when Grease came out, and
how old do you think he is?
Oh, I'm sorry. When did Grease come out?
Like the late 70s.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So it's kind of different. If he was 7 or 5, maybe he wasn't even born yet.
He was probably like just born.
Okay, so Grease fever wouldn't even be sweeping the nation, or no. At the very least,
maybe that's he was born at the same time, and that's why they named him that.
Oh, because they said, oh. Oh, that makes total sense. If only we could get to the bottom of when he was born and when Grease came out. But, if my son's last name is Bucco and Grease fever is sweeping the nation, then Danny Bucco is the perfect name.
He was born in 83, so they had like 5 years. When did Grease 2 come out?
Yeah, well, you're right. So Grease fever.
2, 1982. Maybe they got resurgence. They were rewatching Grease 1.
Is it Danny Zuko's
before
son
Grease
in that?
2? I know Michelle Pfeiffer's in it. I think it's completely unrelated, potentially.
John Travolta couldn't do Grease 2. I mean, I guess his career was like okay by then, but he probably regrets that he didn't do Grease 2 after a certain point.
Well, speaking of careers, Danny revealed that he's in a Fast and the Furious spoof called Super Fast. It looks really horrible.
I watched the trailer.
You did?
Yes, it's super fast. It makes the Zucker brothers look like the Russo brothers. No, I'm just kidding. I was just thinking of two other brothers. It actually was kind of funny. But Danny isn't playing either Vin Diesel or Paul Walker. He's playing the third character in Fast and the Furious that I don't know about. But he had a couple funny lines in the trailer. I was proud of him.
Okay, well, good for him. They go to this racetrack thing. It turns out that they're little remote control cars. They're not actually physically driving cars. They're little tiny remote cars.
Big kind of a letdown to everyone, right? I mean, not to Brittany.
Brittany didn't want to actually do it, so she was happy. And she's like, well, by the way, Jax is blowing up my phone. The first ones they show us is that he says, you took my son from me, disgusting. You took my job away from me. I was looking in the background. Some of it, because I wrote it down, I started to zoom in before they did share for the public eye a lot of these things that I had to originally zoom in for. But he says about Brittany's family that they're the most fucked up he's ever seen, and that even they wouldn't do something like she has done.
I've seen your family. They're the most fucked up people in the world. But even
what
they
does he
wouldn't.
mean by that?
They would. Well, we saw some of the fucked up shit that was going on when we watched Jax and Brittany take Kentucky. I was astounded by that fucked up shit that they were doing. He goes, your family is one of the most fucked up families I've ever seen in my life, and even they wouldn't do what you did to me. Also, we'll read some of the highlights, but I also was doing some. I love when we get to see text, and I love that I get to see a peek into what the fuck Jax actually texts Brittany, because it's horrible, it's awful, it's ceaseless. There's never-ending, nightmarish text. One thing he's like, you showed the video to random people, you're disgusting. The random people, everyone's seen the video. And I was like, what the fuck video is he talking about? Because that's never highlighted in one of the texts. And he's either talking about the video that she sent to... what's the person's name that she was flirting with?
Julian.
His friend. Julian. Or he's talking about the video of him crashing and destroying everything in the house because it's on their camera. And that's what she sent to producers and whoever else to justify why Jax needs to get the fuck in a mental health treatment facility. So there's a constant talk about the video that she shared it. At one point, he goes, Ryan said, I don't blame you, Jax, for what you did. What she did was ruthless. And then he goes, showing random people that video is absolutely disgusting. And the Ryan, I think he's talking about, is Ryan Revel. They're both of their manager. So he's using Ryan Revel in this separation to be like, even Ryan thinks you were fucking despicable, which he's her manager too, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a horrible thing to say.
Yeah.
Like to pit them against each other through the manager. And there's other shit too that they actually are highlighting.
The one that scared me the most was he goes, you better be taking care of that house. I'm watching the cameras and you're not there. Like, as if it's like, I'm like, what are you worried about that's going to happen to that house? He's like, you need to bring in the packages. Like, as if like the whole house is going to like burn down or like disintegrate because she's been at the Airbnb more often than the house. Like,
yeah,
he's grasping at straws to make her feel bad. He says that she's lazy and selfish and plays the victim. He goes, just so you know, I gave my friends the address and they will be stopping by. And I was like, is it that scary guy that looks like he's in Sha Na Na that was at Jax's? Like,
It's
who the fuck?
Is Turbo coming over? He said my boys are gonna be there soon. I don't see you on the cameras. Turbo,
like full goons.
Turbo, let Turbo in right now. He needs to go water the plants. It's awful stuff. The victim thing. You're the victim. I mean, the fact that he's doing this in the facility is just like insane. Jax. I say it all the time. He always surprises me. There is so many facets of his behavior that I can never even imagine.
There's
and this
no
was
bottom.
There's no fucking bottom. It's absolutely awful.
He's like, I'm in a mental health clinic and you're not answering my calls. Like, he's acting like she 5150'd him. Like, she's acting like he's like a 1950s housewife that got like swept away without will. And like,
yes. She's also just the fourth wall break of like, I'm on a fucking cast trip. You know what these are. We do them right at the start of the season and at the end of the season. He's jealous of her. He's jealous of her that she gets to be on this trip and have fun and that she's still on the show. And he's pissed off that she fucking cut the cord on this show and gave him an ultimatum to say, you are fucking spiraling, scaring me, hurting me, scaring crews, and you need to go now. I don't give a fuck that we're filming. You need to go to a treatment facility, and he can't fucking stand her for it. It's awful. We maybe get a gleam of light at the very end of the episode, but for now, nothing. The therapy is not working for 1 second. He's not doing anything in the program. He's just screaming and sputtering and blaming Brittany for all of his awful bad behavior.
But then meanwhile, he's texting Kristen like, actually, I really love it here. Like, I'm learning a lot. It's great.
You should meet some of these people. They're actually really nice. I really like it here. And then Brittany goes, that's something that Jax does. He knows that we're all on a trip together, so he's spreading this fanciful version so that you can all spread that side of the story around. Meanwhile, he's sending me these awful texts that that she shows Kristen right then, which is like another strategy that's haunting and horrible.
So
it's like
psycho.
Yeah, it's so manipulative.
Also was like, why haven't you sent me a care package? And she was like, it's been 3 days. Like, why is he acting like he's at summer camp or something? Like, what care package? What do you mean?
He's like, Bill just got a major care package from his wife, and he's only been in here for 2 days, and I can't even get one. It's probably like so nice. In there. At one point, I forget when, but Zach goes, how is he texting from there? What kind of rehab is this? And it's like, that is like your first impression. It's like, why the fuck is he allowed to do this?
Yeah.
And then Brittany, you know, I mean, who wouldn't? Like, she just starts, you know, breaking down and crying. It's like, he's trying to ruin her day and ruin her time and emotionally manipulate her to make her feel like she's a bad mom and a bad person for doing anything while he is in that facility, like making her feel like she's selfish and all that kind of stuff.
Kristen is like, I'll respond to him saying that I'm proud of Brittany for putting herself first. And Jack's response, he goes, he's like, how? By sending pics of herself to Julian while I was in Michigan, naked photos and pics of my son. He's like, and he also said to Brittany, he goes, wow, going out partying while your husband's in mental health house is come across real nice. Go screen grab all this now and send to your friends. You're good at that. It's giving like how it as Babby formed.
What is that? What is that?
Remember how his Babby formed?
No, what is that? How is Babby formed?
It was like an early YouTube of like ask it was like from a like Yahoo Answers, and it was like a really poorly written question. It was like, how is Babby formed? And it's like, make stain mother.
And they meant how our baby's made, but they wrote it in horrible. Wow.
How is Babby formed?
Yeah, going out while your husband in mental health house has come across real nice, Brittany. And then, Brittany goes, enough
mental
of this.
Health house.
Luke goes, enough of this. Shut up, everybody. I'm now having the time of my life. And he becomes the race car officiator. And I will say, Luke is feeling he's in his cups. He's feeling his oats. He just had sex with Kristen.
Oh, yeah.
And he is like loving being the race car officiator. He sets it all up. 2 heats, he says, and then they divide it, and it's a lot of just race car fun. Maybe about 4 or 5 minutes of just pure race car fun. Danny tries to throw out Talladega Nights because they all have been saying shake and bake, and he goes, "If not first place, you're loser." And everyone is so nice about it, but that's not the quote. It's if you're not first, you're last.
Oh, I see.
So he got it wrong, but they were really nice, and no one corrected him that he got the Talladega Nights quote wrong.
Should I watch that again?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I probably watched it 4 or 5 times, and I haven't seen it in 15 years. So I'm going off what I thought back in the day. But oh yeah, they were loving it in this episode. Shake and bake. If you're not first, you're last. Obviously, I already said that. Luke and Danny win. Jesse is also in his cups, and he is kind of being one of those belligerent drunken men and spraying them all with champagne. And when he gets drunk, he likes to roughhouse and kind of tousle people's hair and put champagne on them and jump around and punch them in the, you know what I mean? That kind of guy. Yeah,
he's like from this point forward, I was afraid for which direction he was going to go in. He's not in a good place. So when he's fucked up, it's a little scary.
Yeah. It wasn't good. Then Brittany goes, "Everybody, that was a lot of fun, but a huge story is sweeping the nation right now." And I remember this day. It wasn't that long ago. TMZ reports that Jax Taylor is seeking treatment in a mental health facility. It was everywhere. It was like, you and I stood still for 2 hours and just thought about it. And Brittany goes, "I don't know how these people got these details, because there is a unique detail. So I think someone here is probably squealing like a pigeon." Or is that squealing like a
pig?
Stool pigeon? Squeal like a pig. No, I didn't mean that. What is this? Squealing like a, I don't know what I mean, but someone here is squealing because they have a lot of details. So she goes, "Please, for the love of God, don't talk to the press, first of all, and also don't tell Jax that we're in," or she goes, "Someone told him that we were in Santa Barbara," and then he sent me a bunch of texts about how he loves Santa Barbara and he wishes he could come, and he's mad at me for going on this. And then that's when Jesse goes, "I talk to Jax every single day, and you'll never stop me from telling him that we're in Santa Barbara."
He hasn't been gone that long. Didn't he know that the cast trip was coming? Like, how spur of the moment was this?
I bet the Valley is like run and gun, pick up or put up or shut up. Jesse says, "I don't give a fuck if production doesn't follow me. I'm taking the cast to Santa Barbara," and Jeremiah is on his heels chasing after them. So it could have been within the last 2 days.
Yeah, Jesse says, he's like, "We're all here to support Brittany, but why doesn't Jax deserve support?" And then he wants some more drama, so he brings up, he's like, "Janet, I have a bone to pick with you." He is talking about his friend who, he says they're not together anymore, so I guess it's his ex, this girl that was fucking the guy from Baywatch.
Yeah, so he like learned that, and then he broke up with her the next day.
I guess. This section was sort of chopped up, so I wonder if they were afraid about her being litigious or something, because it was kind of hard to understand.
She this person who had sex with that Baywatch cast member, we never speculated who it was. David Hasselhoff, I think.
Isn't it that other guy that I don't know his name, but I've heard other people talk about who it is, and he's like the good-looking guy from old Baywatch.
Oh, okay. So she was litigious. She sent a bunch of cease and desist, and Janet blocked her and told Jason to block her, and then that's what Jesse is taking umbrage with. He's pissed off. He goes, "Don't create a block army against this girl. You're bullying her." And Janet goes, "I block people who try to sue my friends." It's like,
yeah,
I'm on her side on that one. She can block. Yeah, who cares? And then Jesse, like, because he's drunk, he gets pissed off. And I will say, Janet is kind of handing him his ass. She has retorts for everything. She goes, "Are you still together?" And he goes, "No, but that's not the point." She goes, "Well, why the fuck do you care then if you're not together?" And then he goes, "Don't you manipulate this conversation?" And he says something like, "The person you're protecting, your friend, is the one who cheated on me." And Janet goes, If I was married to you, I would cheat on you too." And I was like, "God damn, Janet, that was pretty cool to say back." And he eats shit right then. He doesn't say anything back.
Yeah, but he really like gets heated with her. He's like, Brittany, I'm not talking to you. And then he's like, don't play these games with me. And he goes, Janet, you're not suited for this game. And I was like, oh, why are you so fucking fired up all of a sudden? Like, kind of
Yeah,
relax.
it was kind of yeah, it was kind of interesting to see a new rift form because if you ask me, what do Janet and Jason or sorry, Janet and Jesse, what are they? There's a 3 J names on this show. Janet and Jesse, and I would say they're fine. But this was like, oh damn, like they were pissed at each other. Jesse was really pissed at Janet. That's its own like unique rift that you don't even think about.
Yes. So then they go back to the house. Zach is nervous, but he's like, I need to pull Janet aside. We have to talk through our shit. So he gets her an IPA. She's a beer girl. Every time she's drinking, it's a beer.
Yes. Famously, last week, she went to Dave and Buster's, and Jason goes, "Are you going to chug those 2 gigantic big beers?" And Janet goes, "Yes, I'm having the time of my life." I love when he goes, he asks Michelle if he should talk to Janet, and then he kind of has an olive branch where he goes, "Let me get you a beer," and he goes, "Where are the beers?" And she goes, "I drink IPAs now," and he goes, "What's it called?" And she goes, IPAs. And I thought it was kind of interesting that for a second, Zach might not have known what IPAs were. Maybe he doesn't drink a lot of beers.
Yeah. So they go outside. Of course, the entire group is watching them from the inside. It goes pretty well. He takes responsibility, but he says that she should take some responsibility as well. They show the last time he apologized. I don't remember what event this was, but he's wearing a very long wig.
I think it was the very first party he was dressed like Bret Michaels, and they had that corn dog festival. It was the same party where Jax pulled Danny's pants down and he was wearing a bathing suit and wasn't wearing any underwear. I'm pretty sure it was that party. I'm glad that they're going to put to bed this scandal,
want your child to die thing.
Yeah, and whenever they show his clip, it's kind of I understand that Janet was pregnant and it's the worst thing you could ever hear, and I understand why she took it to heart, and maybe he said more devious stuff too to Brittany, and that's what Brittany pulled her aside about. But also when you watch the clip, he just was like, he was drunk and pissed, and he said, "I don't care that she's pregnant." It wasn't like I wish ill will upon that unborn baby and I want that baby to suffer. It wasn't. And
no, he just kept saying, "I don't care," because they were trying to say like, don't fight with her, you're gonna stress her out, that could be bad. And he goes, "I don't care." Like, he's just like, "I don't care that she's pregnant, I'm gonna like go toe to toe with her anyways," is what he was saying. So
yeah.
Does anyone on the whole internet, I've barely seen anybody be like, "That was horrendous." Like, no. I feel like no one gives a shit.
No, I don't think anyone thinks differently about Zach for saying that comment at all. It's like it's only that never like made it out of the Valley world onto the internet, and people are outraged by it. That's why I'm glad it's done. I will say Janet does a good job because she doesn't do what she did with Kristen and give a bad apology and make it go on for longer, but she still kind of tries to have a little bit of ego in this conversation and say like, he should come to me hat in hand. And she also goes, "We're not going to be best friends or anything, but we can at least move forward." And I was like, that's kind of you don't have to say that we're not going to be best friends, But overall, I'm proud of her for just putting it to bed, finally with Zach.
Yeah. And Nia at one point just comes over and he's like, "Can you just hold my hand through this?" And she's just kind of like the support system for everyone in this episode. Janet fills in all the girls. Brittany is thrilled because that situation is stressing her out. And then meanwhile, Kristen is having a hard time because she thought that she was going to be ovulating all weekend, but apparently she's not. I don't know much about that. I've never tested for such a thing, so I didn't know that it was such a moving target, but apparently she's having a really hard time pinning down when it's happening.
It's really cool. I have experience with it. Clear Blue, I think that's what Kristen said she's using. It has this smiley face iconography where if a smiley face is solid, it means ovulating, and then if it's blinking, that means it's time to really have sex now because it's the highest, most fertile ovulation window.
Have sex now.
Yeah, it's the Clear Blue product is amazing. It says have sex now. It says
where's
wait
our spawn?
Wow, we talk about it all the time. Wait one day, sex would be good now. So yeah, it blinks, and I don't know because I didn't have this issue, but Kristen is saying that yeah, the window wasn't right. I think the blinky smiley face or something was. She thought it was the
and
first.
She got confused.
There is one problem with Clear Blue is that at one point the smiley face that's bleeping starts spinning around in circles, and no one knows what the hell that's supposed to indicate. So
it smiles with like sharp teeth.
Yeah. So Clear Blue, there's a couple tweaks I would do where I don't think the animations need to be that sort of outlandish, but other than that, Clear Blue ovulation meter is one of the best products.
That would be a good bit in Smile 3 if they're trying to come up with ideas like that, where she can't escape the smile and she checks the thing and it's like an evil smile on the Clear Blue and she's like, no!
Oh my God. Oh yeah. I haven't even seen Smile 3, and you saying that makes me, or I haven't seen Smile 1 or 2, I mean. But
Smile 2 is good.
Oh wow. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll see it. Oh my God. It just the thought of it. Someone taking a Clear Blue out of a package and then seeing that evil smile face, I presume. Yeah, so Kristen's going through that, and that's when Luke actually, I think Kristen was going to be the one who was going to, like, go through and talk about all of the stuff that they're doing, because this was, like, Kristen planning, but Luke kind of takes over, because Kristen is bummed out for the rest of the day, and I was proud of Luke for the rest of the episode for really, like, stepping up and taking over, and he did a lot of beautiful stuff, which we'll talk about.
Yes. Meanwhile, Brittany walks into Zach's room and he's like sobbing, and she's like, what the hell? She's like, I thought your guys' conversation went well. And he's like, why did you tell her what I said? Because I guess, did he not know, or did he just get re-pissed that Brittany's the one that told Janet what he said?
Janet said that, like, I didn't know what the hell you were saying in that booth at Jack's Studio City. I heard that you got kicked out, which I think we've heard confirmed, that he got kicked out one night from Jack's Studio City. And then Brittany told me all the things you said, so I only have what Brittany told me to go off of, and that hurts Zach's feelings, because, like, damn, you told me when I was riffing, saying, like, horrible shit when I was drunk, all the things that I said. Like, that's not typically what a best friend would do. And then Brittany has to tell him, I would do the same for you. If Janet was ripping your ass apart, like, with horrible things, I would tell you instantly, you know? Yeah. So, but that made Zach sad, but he kind of gets over it pretty quickly once Brittany comforts him, right? Like, it doesn't.
Yeah. She motorboats him and he gets over it. Okay. Then, it's dinner. They're barbecuing. There's a spiritual guide that Kristen has hired. So they're going to do a healing ceremony / healing circle, which has become a bit of a Bravo trope as a way to, like, air grievances and stuff. This woman, Willa, describes herself as an embodiment guide and sacred was it sacred photographer? Is that what she said?
Sacred photographer, yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
I was thinking about it, and I was imagining that if she took a photo of them in that moment right now, that the photo would be one of the most beautiful things they've ever seen in their life.
I wonder if she does the, like, aura photography.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. Absolutely, she probably does. This was definitely, like you just said, a trope is to bring a psychic or a medium, or what did they do on Beverly Hills one time?
On Atlanta, there was a first this week, a prophet.
Yes, and they've figured out a lot of different ways to make the same scene happen, and I think Willa, is just a sort of new version to get that exact same, scene that they want. But I've never seen what she is. I've never seen this before, this type of ceremony. It's like putting stuff, a bunch of items, and you put one thing to give back and then pick up one thing that you want. And Brittany's laughing her ass off the entire time because this kind of stuff makes her laugh, she said. She just can't keep herself not from laughing when she's hearing, like, Earth Mother and sacred photography and stuff like that. You can hear her giggling through the entire.
In the trope of this, there's always, like, the Christians in the group that are like, I don't know about all this.
Yes.
Like, oh, like, this is cursed.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Yeah, maybe Brittany is also laughing, yeah, because she doesn't, believe this stuff. But then they go through, and Brittany says, "Yeah, what are you What are you calling in? What are you ready to release?" Brittany's kind of laughing as she gets up there, but at the end of the ceremony, she says she wants to get her sparkle back, which was very
Yes.
sweet.
Yeah. She's had her sparkle lost since before she was engaged.
Yeah, Jax said she lost her sparkle during Jax and Brittany take Kentucky. Do you remember? She got her sparkle back for a brief period when he proposed to her at the Crab Shack and during the wedding. And then I would say instantly within a year, she lost her sparkle again, according to Jax, probably. So she wants
Yeah.
it back. That was sweet. This whole thing, before we get into it, like this whole thing was really sweet. It was typically I'm averse to scenes like this where it's a cliche to have these spiritual healers come in, but I really feel like everyone is going through enough turmoil that it actually ended up being pretty profound for almost everyone. You kind of like, if I was in the emotional state that any of them were in, I'll take anything like this I can get if it would even work 1% in my life. So
Yeah.
I kind of liked as they were going through it. Luke's was very sweet. They all say different stuff, but Luke said, I am calling for family because I'm accepting that this is my new life here and I want to bring in family, and you guys are becoming my family. And then he starts to choke up and he goes, I didn't think I'd get emotional, but it's a real thing. I appreciate you all. And I thought that was a really sweet moment, because Luke hated his life in season 1 in LA. He goes, we got to get the fuck out of here as soon as possible. I hate all these people. I hate that Jax brought Kristen's ex-boyfriend to play arcade games with us. And now he's accepting that he's probably going to stay in LA for a bit of time, and he appreciates Danny and Nia and Janet and everything. So,
Yeah.
Luke is probably the one that we hear about the least, and doesn't say a lot, but this really, I don't know, for him to have a shining moment like that, I was really proud of him.
Yeah, because Kristen, even though this was her thing, she never even participates. She just is tapped out. Also, Jesse is all pissed off and forlorn, so he doesn't want to do it. And then Jason, he says some stuff for himself, but he also says that we have a friend that's not here who partners a parent with with Brittany, and can we all send our good energy towards him together? And Brittany was like, I wanted to say something like that, but I didn't want to bawl crying.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said, and she sounded exactly like that when she said it. Then they go, we're thinking of Jax, and then they almost rise up from him from from that circle to Santa Barbara back to Los Angeles, and then we get Jax's video diary.
Roll
And
the tape. It's
and
like,
yeah, and they even give this thing the little fake battery sign and the little fake recording thing. I was like, well, did we need that? Did we think it's on a camcorder? I assume it was just on his phone when he has those
probably
15
just
minutes.
to confirm that they didn't like film, like to be like, this is just him alone there.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And Jax kind of goes through, he's going through like the full spectrum of emotions that he had while he was in the mental health facility. He says, first, I was standoffish as hell. I hated these people. I hated everyone around me. They all kind of sucked. I wasn't opening up. But then he says, I started getting emotional every single day. And then he says, I felt so alone and neglected. She's going on these trips. She's not checking in. That's when he says, our vows were in sickness and in health. And here I am, sick as a dog in a mental health facility, and she's not checking in on me. But then I feel like after that, it transitions to him being more reflective and more vulnerable. And possibly this was the switch in the treatment facility where it actually started to work by the end of the video. Because he says, well, you're right, you could also say, some would say, Jack's detractors would say, and I also, I don't have the best feelings towards Jax, especially in this era at all. He does say this place is allowing him to talk about a lot of the hurt, anger, and the demons inside of me. And then he says, I can't keep going on like this. It's killing me. It's killing my wife, and it will destroy my son if I don't get fixed. And it's like, well, that's absolutely the takeaway. I mean, That is the true thought. Whether you're playing this up, I guess, for the audience to see that you're really making the most of it in there is up for debate. But
Well, he does leave very quickly and is rage texting Brittany at the same time as recording this message.
So okay, all right. So I'm being too nice to him.
Generous.
So you think that the entire thing is sort of a ploy for the audience to show that he's.
Yeah, he wants to get back to filming ASAP. He's like, get me the fuck out of here. I want to do my job and make my money.
So he's like, I'm going to go through I'm going to go through all the treatment I can do right now, and because I want to get out of here as quick as possible so I can possibly film on the Valley.
I think so. I think that's all he cares about. I mean, he literally mentions it in the text. He's like, you took away the only thing I enjoy. I've worked so hard to make this show, he basically says.
All right. I think I have to say that given what I know now of Jackson, those texts that I saw and the
fool me once.
I've been fooled by Jax before. I would say, I guess I did think initially I thought maybe he was learning something, but when you take those texts and you read them and it is talking about taking his job and how jealous he is and stuff like that, maybe it is just him being kind of a...
We didn't talk about, we should have said this at the top, but he claimed on his podcast to have finally apologized to Tom Sandoval for having had relations, as he likes to say, with Kristen on, season 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't realize how much that hurt until it happened to me. And I was like, okay, not the same thing, but anyways. And then he's like, I finally really apologized to him. And he posted the clip, and then Sandoval commented like a paragraph on it. It was like, come on, man, don't do this. He's like, I didn't even respond. You didn't call me. You texted me. I haven't responded to it yet. And I think you sent it after you recorded this.
No way.
I think he said it for glory on the podcast, then was like, shit, I have to actually text him to make it true.
And then Sandoval called him out in the comments and said that?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Well,
he's such a fucking liar. It's insane.
Well, okay. All right. I went from thinking that was a beautiful testament to Jax's, taking it all seriously, but now I find it to be possibly just trying to give the audience what we think he thinks that we would want to see from him in there. I don't know. That was recent. That means he's still lying his ass off and trying to...
Yeah, it was like last week.
Oh my God, Jax! I think it's time for the ayahuasca trip in Costa Rica or whatever. I think this is not working. I don't think that some of these flaws they seem to be still prevalent within Jax, unfortunately. So okay, all right, I take back what I said, that I even believe that for a second. Danny has to leave. We're back in Santa Barbara. Danny has a wonderful voiceover gig. I looked up his IMDb. I know exactly what the project is. It's called Mayhem by John Francis Daly from Freaks and Geeks. So you bet your ass Danny's going back to LA to be a voice actor.
Director of Game Night and Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
Honor Among Thieves. Is that what it's called?
Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. Yes, John Francis Daly.
Killing
Daly.
it.
So he had to run back to Mayhem, and Danny does a lot. This is not. I'm not being offensive when I say this. Danny does a lot of voiceover, and also a lot of what he does is like in Transformers 1 when Optimus Prime throws a big car and it accidentally hits a bunch of people. Danny would be one of the people that would scream. Yes, totally. It says ADR loop group, so he would be in a room with a bunch of people and they would all scream together. But he also does, he was in Super Fast and a bunch of shit too, but he does a lot of voiceover work. And he goes, when you get a call from John Francis fucking Daly for Mayhem, you're not staying in Santa Barbara overnight. And he goes, I can't turn down a gig at this point in my life. And I kind of was like, shots fired at his Valley rate a little bit. He's like, I can't stay the night here because you guys aren't paying my bills. I need to go back to... He's
also like coming back the next day. It's not that far,
Yeah, no, it wasn't a big deal. But then Willa
Especially for them. Like, if you're in the Valley already, like, you're already like... part of the way there,
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
West.
It's like an hour. It was nothing. VO knocked that thing out with John Francis in the booth, 2 hours, and then get to Santa Barbara by noon. Okay,
get drunk and embarrass yourself. I think that's what's gonna happen next week.
Drunk. Villa says, "Hey, you didn't do the gratitude ball. do you want to do this? And Luke says, yes, yes, give that ball to me now. I'm grateful. He goes, let's all say what we're grateful for. But he goes, but when you throw the ball, don't throw it to a significant other. Please do not. And so then what? They toss it to Brittany. Does Brittany get it tossed first? And then she tosses it to Jesse. Brittany says, I'm thankful for my son, Cruz. I love him so much. He's the light of my life. He is everything I'm giving my gratitude for. And then she goes, now, Jesse, I want to hear from you. Because Jesse famously passed on the catch and release part of the portion of this. And then this is when Jesse, he's drunk as a skunk in his cups. And he's having a bad time because every time he looks over at Michelle, he thinks she's cold. He's tried to initiate and poke her. Like,
I love that he immediately makes it negative. He's like, instead of just saying that, like, same as Cruz, Isabella is the light of my life and she really keeps me hanging on or whatever, he goes, I'm in a really toxic situation and I'm glad that our daughter's thriving, but like it's so bad. And Michelle won't even look at him. Like, she just keeps her head forward the whole time.
Yeah.
And he's like, how about you, Michelle? Why don't you take the ball? And I was like, oh my God, like, is he going to like throw it like hard at her? Like,
I guess it didn't break. I kept thinking that broke Luke's rule. Don't throw to a significant other. But I guess technically you could say that they're not. But I feel like this is the exact situation he didn't want, where Jesse says the thing and then Michelle gets the ball right after. But maybe not. Maybe he's okay with that.
He looks at Zach and he's like, hey, Zach. He's like, how about you don't roll your eyes when Michelle goes like you did for me? And he's like, I won't roll my eyes at her, only you. And he's like, I'll fucking bury that guy off a cliff.
Yeah, he goes, Jason, listen to me. Jason, listen to me. I'll go over there and fucking bury that guy off a fucking cliff right now. He's just so drunk and upset. It's wild. And then Michelle gets the ball. And then
along the way, she forgot what the name of the game was.
Oh, really? What did she say? I didn't notice that.
Well, she's crying. They show a montage of like their sweet moments, and she goes, I guess a great moment in our relationship was when we decided to have a child together. And I was like, that wasn't the question. It was, what are you grateful for?
Oh my God, I didn't even notice that. She thought it was great moment ball.
Like, why did she think she had to come up with something positive about Jesse? Like, she could have just said her daughter or her boyfriend or this weekend with friends.
But you know what? If she forgot for 1 second, you would think Jesse's saying that one thing, and then when you get the ball that you have to, like, I could understand why she was confused a little bit. But her saying a great moment was when we decided to have a child together, and they're all tearing up and crying at this. I said a major win for the no turn back time toddler community, because remember, famously, you and I have talked about, would you go back in time? Would you go back in time and not have a different child with someone? But they both said they like Isabella just fine, right?
Yeah. I felt there's a large amount of support in the comments for turn back time, different kid.
Oh, absolutely there was. I don't think there was one that said I want to keep my child with my
Isabella
significant
kicked
other.
to the curb in the comments.
Yeah, you're probably right, but it was sweet that they both acknowledged, obviously, that Isabella was a good thing that they did.
Yeah, and then they showed them like smooching at the Trevi fountain and all of these moments, and I'm like, I don't actually think they really ever liked each other that much. Or if they did, it wasn't for long.
Yeah. I mean, at least when we saw it, it was so far gone that you can't even imagine a world where they were ever sweet together. I mean, when I looked at the photos, like there was one where they were in front of that Caesar's Palace statue, and I was like, they look like they're smiling, pretty big at each other. But other than that, I think you're right. This might have been just a rough, bad relationship the entire time. And then Jesse's got his head in his hands. He's crying. They're all crying. And then he gets up. He's half drunk. He's sad. He goes up to his room and then
strips off his pantaloons immediately. He's in his tighty whities, ranting.
He's ranting. He's going, ruin my life, ruin my life. She ruins my life. And then Jason rightfully goes to check on him. He's like, I think he's naked up there, screaming or
I want to take a peek.
Rambling. I gotta go check on him. And then that's when I go, oh my God, you were 10 points ahead in the Amy and Riley Turtle Time ledger. And then he goes, I'm going to get the fuck out of here and drive my car if you don't get the fuck out of here, Jason. Get the fuck away from me. And I was like, oh my God, don't ever talk to Jason like that. That was so mean and horrible. But I think that he didn't want to be filmed.
Yeah, he pretty much looks into the camera and is like, get out.
Yeah, and Jason did a good job this episode actually trying to get a peek into Jesse's psyche multiple times. When they sat down earlier in the episode, he goes, how are you and Michelle doing? And I was like, this is great stuff. That's what every cast member should always just be asking other cast members how they're doing, because that's the lifeblood of these shows. So Jason did that really well, but unfortunately he got the worst case scenario for popping in on Jesse. Jesse was pissed off and told him to get the fuck out.
Yeah. And it looks like next week, Michelle also checks on him and then gets all pissed off. And then she throws a drink in his face at one point. We get the revelation that Jax is bipolar. And it would appear that Danny drinks too much again. And then unexpectedly, Nia and Brittany get into an argument.
Yeah. Drunk Danny is back in a big way. He's drunk off his ass. They show him passed out asleep. Nia has to say, please stop drinking as much. And then I think Brittany calls into question how drunk Danny is. And then that's when Nia is like upset with Brittany about it. You know, don't talk about my drunk husband.
We're not going to talk about the husband.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Yeah, it definitely recalls that moment completely. Good. So great episode, right?
Yeah, it was fun. I'm like holding on for dear life. I'm like, that was only the 4th episode. We have so much ahead of us. And then I hope that I guess that they'll have seen everything by the time they film the reunion, but it's kind of crazy how long away the reunion is for us.
I know, yeah. What a binge that they all had to do. 12 episodes ripping through that thing. They probably have no clue what the hell they're talking about after watching that many episodes. Yeah, but we've got a long run. He said it's 15 episodes plus 2 or 3 reunions.
Yeah. Andy said, I think it was that same clip where he was talking about the seating chart. He said that Janet was like, I saw that you went to dinner with the Summer House guys after their reunion. Like, are you going to go out with us? And Andy was like, no.
Wow. Andy has talked about that. He can't do anything with anyone else because then it changes the rules for every single Bravo celebrity in his orbit. I remember on Sheena's vlog I watched one time and Sheena goes, Andy Cohen, please, Andy, be on my podcast. And he was so thoughtful. He goes, that's so interesting and sweet of you to invite me. But unfortunately, if I go on your podcast, I would probably have to go on other people's podcasts because you know instantly every single Bravo celebrity would want him, and he can't do it. He can't set that precedent. So he already set a bad precedent by going to dinner with the Summer House boys.
Yeah, he talked about that on probably the same radio show I listened to. He was saying that the guys were like, we're going to Corner Bistro in the West Village where Andy lives. So they were going anyways, and it's like down the street from his house. He went home, took his kids for ice cream, and then introduced his kids to all the guys. And he said that West was the only one that like got down on the ground and was like playing with them and was like a super sweetie with the kids. And then the nanny came and picked up the kids and he hung out for a while and had a drink.
Whoa.
And I was like, that sounds so fucking fun.
Could you imagine if you were popping in on a New York City night to Corner Bistro and you saw that scene unfold in front of you? I couldn't even imagine. Was like,
it was the easiest thing in the world because it's literally like a block from my house. So like it was fine for me to join. It wasn't something he really went out of his way to do.
That's what he's going to say to everyone.
Yeah.
He's going to say, it was at Corner Bistro right next to my house.
Janet's like, I'll go to Corner Bistro. I'll fly there.
She absolutely would. Okay, amazing episode. I want to apologize to Turtle Time viewers on YouTube for my setup. You have no fucking clue what I'm going through over here. It looks like absolute shit. At one point, you could see Amy. You could see Amy in my reflection. I had to turn around. It was absolutely awful. I'm in the worst seat I've ever had in Turtle Time history. So if I was horrible, just know that it's absolute hell over here. Not with my family or anything, but I'm just going through quite a time over here. But I hope that we delivered at least the Turtle Time promise, which we all know the Turtle Time guarantee. Recap a show? Check. A little bit of news? Check.
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
Check.
We're about to do those. Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we're wrapping up. I
Yeah.
give us a total absolute B minus.
Okay. I'd say solid B, but
Good.
I also wanted to acknowledge, I know we got like a couple comments about where we stand with Atlanta. We are watching. We can
And that's a guarantee.
we are watching. I did take notes, but
We're watching.
We're kind of waiting for it to be
Good.
Yeah, and like Phaedra comes next week, so I think that'll be good. I thought she was going to be on this week, but then she was teased in the coming next week.
Well, I'll just say, because I'll save you, because Amy is doing so good. Amy is watching. Amy's taking notes. It's hard for me to take on anything on my plate, and I also think that Atlanta, I don't know if I'm psychosomatically or psychologically saying this season is really bad, so you and I don't have to cover it, but also while I'm watching it, I'm like, this is really bad, and I understand why the producers said, get Phaedra here now. We are sputtering on fumes over here, because I really do think it's a very uniquely bad season of Atlanta. I liked the last 2 seasons of Atlanta that everybody hated about 10 times more than this. I'm so tired of the Dennis and Portia.
I sneezed.
I'm so tired of the Dennis and Drew shit. It's just like I can only enjoy it for so many episodes before I start to get completely tired of it. I'm glad that it gets resolved. We'll talk about it more in depth and detail.
I did want to say they did an unprecedented thing this week where Portia and Dennis shared a confessional.
Yeah.
And they had some scenes where I was like, they're like really fun together. Like, why did they break up? I know you watched some of the spin-offs and stuff, but like, what happened?
Yeah, it was like over nothing. Dennis cheated on Portia while she was pregnant.
Oh, that's wow.
So I agree completely. Dennis and Portia are wonderful together. Dennis is actually very fun. In Family Matters, he is like the second most fun person on that show. It's obvious why Portia wanted him to be on the spinoff, even though they were separated. Dennis is, I like him a lot. I think that they are perfect for each other, and I'm glad that they're in this good co-parenting spot. They love each other. They have great rapport. They're very funny together. But as I was watching, I just cannot stop thinking, and I know Portia cannot stop thinking, that he betrayed her trust at the time when she needed him the most, and he slept with someone else during her 9-month pregnancy, and she found out after, and that plays out on a season of Atlanta. I forget which season. But he ruined it. I mean, it's completely his fault. He betrayed Portia. She can never forgive him. They have a great relationship, but if I were Portia, that's going to be very hard for her ever to forgive. So I do like that stuff. I'm not loving the new cast members. I have to tell you this because we're talking about Atlanta. I watched Bravo posted an Instagram, and it was a clip of Angela saying like, I invited Drew because I thought that her and Portia would get along. And then the comments under it said, this is the Angela show now. Rename this show Angela Show. My God, I love Angela so much. Angela, thy name rings the biggest bell in my heart. And I go, what the hell is this? Did I miss an episode where Angela just came out swinging and she's the most vibrant, fun cast member in the world? And I swear this is a horrible thing to say, but I think Angela unfortunately released the flood of bots on that post, and then the post got taken down by Bravo and they reposted it.
Whoa.
It was the most, you've never seen the pro Angela comments like that. It was 90% pro Angela, and there were 100 comments on it. I think they had to delete it because watching the episode, there is nothing iconic that Angela does. It was right after the episode where Angela spies through her window and secretly records them talking about fucking her husband. I was like,
called me Big Bear. Big Bird. I have Big Bear on the brain. She also is kind of interesting. The reason that Kenya got fired was for showing the like revenge porn stuff about Britt. And then on this episode, Angela called her a whore because of those.
Right, I know. Well, they were. I think
said that she has miles on her mouth, which
Yeah.
I thought was a pretty good phrase, actually.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Well, yeah, I was only just saying that because like I was having a hard time reconciling what I had seen of Angela up to that point, and then the absolute stand-up I was seeing in the comments, and I have to say I think it was quite possibly purchased fandom in a way, because I don't think anything she did was justified. The episodes are okay. Not. I don't find them to be personally good, but we will check back in once Phaedra provides some life.
Yeah,
to
I
this
totally
season.
forgot that her and Portia are frickin' frack.
I remember that too, but then their relationship got ruined after the candy shit.
Have I told you about what happened when I saw that movie Nebraska?
Oh my God, I've always wondered what happened when you saw the Alexander Payne film Nebraska, starring Bill Odenkirk and Bob Odenkirk and Will Forte.
Yes. You know how there's those big brothers, the twins, in that movie?
Oh, hold on, let me close
Kind
my
of.
eyes. Yep.
And they are, I don't remember, but they're being like a little bit of a nuisance, if I recall correctly. And we saw it in the theaters when it came out, and this older woman behind us, when they came back into the scene, like halfway through the movie, she goes, "If it's not frick or frack again."
Really?
So now every time I hear frick or frack, I picture the twins from Nebraska, and I'm like, I love that she was like, not frick or frack.
Wow. Where was that person sitting? Right next to you?
Right behind me.
Oh my God. Wow. What did you say? Not frick or frack again?
She was like, here, if it's not frick or frack, isn't it frick or frack? I think it was like the brother from Buzz from Home Alone.
Who was?
Either frick or frack.
He was Frick?
I'll have to rewatch.
I need to see what frick and frack even means, because we've said it so much that it's lost meaning. Frick or no, I wrote frock and frack. All right, well, we'll figure out who frick and frack are. Oh, I think they're two. Oh, frick and frack are two like mime-esque.
That's right
Charlie
up our alley.
Chaplin brothers. Oh, we've got a new thing to reference all the time now. I'm so glad. They're a duo of Swiss skaters who went around the United States in 1937 doing a bunch of silly ice-capade type stuff, like having rubber legs on the ice skating rink, spread eagle cantilever. So they were just two frickin' frack Swedish brothers who were doing a bunch of weird ice tricks, and America loved them.
That's when, wartime, we needed the goofs,
Yeah, 1937, things were starting to seem a little bad, and so frickin'
Bring
frack.
back frick or frack.
Oh my God, you and I, easily, I'm saying, easiest costume in the world. You and I, frick or frack. Everyone look on YouTube for a second. Actually, don't look on YouTube. I don't want you to see this my setup over here.
You know who definitely doesn't know who frick and frack is? Brittany.
Oh.
No, what in tarnation is frickin' frack?
She missed frick and frack for sure in her cultural
Maybe
awareness.
Mama knows.
Oh, Mama seems like, if I know anything about her beer cheese, that she lives on a farm, I know that she probably remembers when frickin' frack toured America.
I guess vaudeville was earlier. Vaudeville was dead by frickin' frack's time, but sounds similar.
Yeah, well, I love these two. I love these two boys, and I really learned something today. You bringing up frickin' frack. I always took for granted that I knew who they were, and they're a comedic figure skating duo from the 1930s.
I'll never forget it.
That's amazing. Well, say what you will about turtle time in this episode, but at least you learned something like this at the very end. Okay, let me say what we normally say. It's an hour and a half, perfect amount of turtle time. That's enough of turtle time for everyone. Please, if you need, no, it's not. If you need more than this and it wasn't enough, go to Patreon. We actually have been, I feel like Patreon is you and I are on a fucking tear. We're like frick and frack over there.
It's highly relevant. We're on the end of season 6. Right now, for like the one episode in history, Jax and Brittany are broken up. She has the moment to escape, but as we know, they end up back together. So if you want to see just like the slice of the butterfly effect moment when she could have had a different destiny, we're watching it right now. Zach is in it. it's really a thrill to see and just know that she had the opportunity, and we're now watching her in 2025 still trapped with this demon.
It's true. It's more relevant than ever. You have to please pay us $5. You have to. You'll love what happens there. And go back to the archives. I swear, Amy and I have been saying we were so much better in the early days of the. No, I'm just kidding. No, we've been consistently.
There's like over 100.
Yeah, there's 100 episodes, so do that. Explore the various Turtle Time social media channels. What are they? Instagram.
TikTok, YouTube.
Oh, and I got to say, YouTube, well, Villa Rosa VIPs, every single time they give us the best discussion points. They answer our questions. I hope they probably were kicking themselves when we were talking about frickin' frack before knowing who they were. You know what I mean? And then I love YouTube and Spotify. They deliver some amazing comments as well. So go nuts, comment if you'd like, and then that's it. Review us if you'd like.
Yeah, and I've said it before, but I'll say it again. New merch coming this week. So keep an eye out. We're going to post about it.
I cannot wait. We will tell you immediately when Etsy has that beautiful new merch, and you're going to want to, I mean, Christmas will have come early, and you're going to want to save some money to buy up all of this shit.
Absolutely. But thanks for joining us. Another B to B plus.
Yeah, B minus. Yeah. Did you say B plus and I said B minus?
I'd go as far as B plus.
Oh yeah. Then let's. What's it called when you put a bunch of tests in the curve?
Yeah. So B.
B. Yep. A classic B episode of Turtle Time. All right. We love you all so much, and we'll see you for our Friday episode.
Yes. Summer House.
Summer House. Goodbye.